off to
the guardrail. Look, look, look. Wow, Joey, look at all the mountains, Joey. Look, oh my God, look.
What? What?
All the mountains.
Mom, look at that huge mountain.
Dim headlights at night.
We can imagine.
That's because we're in a...
Yeah, we're in the mountain. We're losing signal because we're in the mountains. Remember that.
Mountain.
Look. You still want to go?
Mountain.
Yep. You still want to go if you lose signal?
Yeah. Look at the mountain.
I know, it's nice, huh? Are we going to lose GPS? I won't even know.
You won't even know.
Yeah, I
It's
will.
like driving this.
It's windy.
No, it's not windy.
Yeah. Whoa. Would you go up that?
It said no stopping at any
That's the
point.
mountain.
Yeah. Oh, fuck that. No way. No, it's not happening. Jess, I made a mistake.
Oh no, you're in for it. We're here.
Take a picture and send it to your parents. Tell them I made. I changed my mind. Get out of your mind. Oh, look. I can't do it. I can't do it.
The one that wanted to go.
Oh. She's right. Call her. Call her.
No, they're not home. The old man is right. I'm so glad we came. I didn't want to go. Why? There's the old man in the mountain. I don't know if that is or not.
What's that? Look out. Get that right there. No. No. No.
Oh my god. Roller coaster! Don't go that fast. Don't go that fast. Oh my god. Wow.
Oh, shit. Right there. Bus.
Why is there smoke?
That's a train. It was parking right there. Yeah.
I am. Awesome. Out the window so you're not dizzy?
There will be no.
How you doing?
Huh?
How you doing?
Terrible. I don't know how high it's going to be.
I want to.
Now this is really important to stay seated during the switches because on the AB side I have to be able to see my engineer. Now if you want to come back and hike up Mount Washington, there's several hiking trails that go up Mount Washington. Two of them come up on this side of the mountain. One is on the right hand side behind our cabins and our base station. That is the Ammonoosuc Ravine Trail. It goes up Mount Washington to that Lakes in the Clouds hut. Well, not up Mount Washington, the side of Mount Washington. To the Lakes in the Clouds hut, and then you hike the 1.5 miles over to the summit of Mount Wash. On the left-hand side, right after our A platform where those yellow steps are, you'll see the Jewel Trail. Now, the Jewel Trail is 5.5 miles, and that is the easiest trail up Mount Washington, but by no means is it easy. I'll show you where that goes once we get a little higher up. Mountains by that Lakes in the Clouds hut. You guessed it, the Lakes in the Clouds. Those lakes are the highest lakes east of the Mississippi River. This water rolls on down through here. It is naturally filtered, so you can drink it if you'd like. Heads off into little... Once he got down there, he worked for a farmer for a few seasons, and he made $12 a month. After a while, he decided he was... I never said it was real. Those were built out of the locomotive works down in Manchester, New Hampshire, brought right up here and put on our lines. By then... Now behind that pink coach is the Wombeck Station. If you come and visit us in the wintertime, that's as far as we... And I'd have to hop back on before my engineer left without me. Now the side tracks that we're just on, the passive tracks, those were built in 2002 as well. Our first diesels weren't put online. Charlie Kennison were two co-workers here. Charlie Kennison was our lead mechanic, and Al Prod was a retired mechanical engineer. They noticed that the steam engines were having a hard time keeping up on the maintenance of them, so something had to give. So that's when we put one of these online, the M1. 3 side by side the next year. The 3 is in front of us as well. That's the red engine. Now these have a John Deere marine diesel engine in 2 gallons on the ride down. Now the first coaches. Oh boy, what a learning curve. Absolutely level. Check out your reflection as we head on by. This is the halfway house, our old warming hut. First glimpse of Birch Ravine over there, that ridge line, is where the Jewel Trail goes. Aren't you? Is the giant. We have 3 major weather systems and several minor weather systems that converge on the summit of Mount Washington that give us the distinction of the world's highest recorded wind speed was 231 miles per hour. Coldest temperature ever recorded was a negative 71 degrees. Now as we come around this next corner, you're going to be on my favorite part of the tracks, also happens to be the steepest part. It's at 37.491% grade. It's 100 feet long, 30 feet down, and has a 30% curve. You're going to have a view westerly on the left-hand side towards my hometown of Jefferson, New Hampshire. Welcome to Jacob's Ladder. We're at 4,700. Now as we're coming up through, some of you, especially on the left-hand side, will notice that there's wood out here. Some of it is very, very old. Some of it's a little newer. The newer boards had the 25-pound rail on top. We're not there on those yet. But the old stuff that's out here, a lot of this is from the hurricane in 1938. 1938, we had a hurricane that blew through here and decimated our tracks, completely wiped them out. B&M Railroad health section that we have today. Now we're just coming off Jacob's Ladder and onto Short Trestle, and we'll be on to Long Trestle. Now if you are sitting on the left-hand side and you are afraid of heights, look right.
Look right, you're afraid of heights. Look right.
Because that is a 2,000-foot drop down into Birch Ravine. On this side though, on the right-hand side, it's only about 5 feet down.
Only.
Not too bad at all.
It's only.
Now the difference between the halfway house and Jacob's Ladder is only 225. Tree line is at 5,000 feet. Out west it's at 10,000 feet. And on this side of the mountain, it's actually lower than the east side of the mountain. The west side has a lower tree line. Now some of these trees out here, if they have a 3 to 4 inch diameter base, they're 100 years old. But they're no taller than my waist or my chest. Pretty crazy.
In the sky, it looks like an eye.
Mine, that's not right.
No, I'm saying it looks like. The clouds on here.
Now off on the right hand side as we move on to Long Trussell, you see Frog Rock. Yep, they painted a rock to look like a frog.
Joey's Frog Rock.
It's actually one of our markers that the steamers use. That's what we've called it for years, and somebody had some shenanigans and came up here with some paint. It's been painted ever since.
Where's the Frog Rock?
Now as we head up and down Mount Washington, we do have several different atmospheres that we travel through. We have 5 different ecosystems that we travel through as well. We are on the cusp of the 4th ecosystem, and we're about to move into the 5th, which will have no trees at all.
Wow.
Now on the left-hand side, like I said, that's Burt's Ravine. That was named after Henry Burt. Henry Burt ran the newspaper out of the hotel that was at the
I
summit.
see people.
We had a hotel up there,
There's people
but it burned, so we built another one.
at the top.
Yeah, that one burned too. But while we had a hotel up there, he ran the newspaper called Among the Clouds. Now he would print the local goings-on of all the surrounding towns, and he would put it in front of the doors of everybody staying at the hotel. Word got out about the paper though and how good it was, so the surrounding towns wanted to read it as well. He thought, fine, I'll just print more. That works. So he had no problem getting the paper down the opposite side of the mountain, because the carriage road or auto road was built about the same time as the cog railway. Now Sylvester Marsh and the gentleman who built the cog railway, the auto road, had a gentleman's agreement that nobody would build on the north side of the mountain, so our tracks and the carriage road have never crossed. Now Henry Burt had to get his papers down this side of the mountain, right? Other side was no problem. This side, a little more difficult. He had to wait for those first trains. Well, they used to take 3 to 4 hours to get up there. That's about noon. Then they got to get back down. The towns, it was evening. Now it's old news. So that won't do. He had to find a new solution. So he decided to use something called a slide board or devil's shingle that the track crew had been using for years. Now that's a 3 to 4 foot board that's 8 inches wide, sat on the center rack.
What is it?
Guys, if you could not sit or lean against any of those gauges or anything in the back, on the back wall, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. I got things just how I like them to keep us safe. Okay, those slide boards, 3 to 4 foot wide, 8 inches wide, right? 3 to 4 foot long, 8 inches wide. Had a handbrake. Sat on the center rack. They went down the mountain on it. Doesn't sound sketchy at all, does it?
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. So Henry Burt used these with his crew, put the papers in the middle, head on down through, deliver them to the horse and buggies down below. They deliver to the towns out on the west side. Then they would just ride up on the first train, no problem. Yeah. There had to have been some racing. Definitely some shenanigans going on. Because the fastest time down Mount Washington on a slide board. You ready for this?
Wow.
2 minutes and 45 seconds. That is 70 miles an hour on a board with a handbrake.
Wow.
And they ripped. Now the best part about this story for me, the record was set by a woman. People tried to break the record. This makes me chuckle too. So the hotel thought it was a great idea to just hand it to the public. Here, have fun. Bye. Have a board.
Have a board.
Enjoy your ride and hope you live.
Have a board.
So they were outlawed in the early 1930s. So that record will never be broken.
Wow.
Now, we have reached Arctic tundra. our upper zone here, or alpine zone. This has sedge grass, mosses, lichen on the rocks. There's very few trees. They're just kind of hanging out in the little areas inside the rocks. This is Arctic tundra, very fragile environment. So we like to keep our hikers on the hiking trails. So we have markers or cairns. If you look out behind you can see hikers following these piles of rocks. Those are called cairns and they mark the trail. Now you can see the northern presidentials right now. We have Clay, Jefferson, Adams, and Madison. The view that you're about to get is a northerly view off towards Quebec and Maine. That lake out there has a line through the middle of it. That's a train track. A lot of our trains came that way. So again, Clay, Jefferson, Adams, Madison. I know Clay was not a president. He was a senator in Kentucky, I do believe. They tried to rename it Reagan in the 80s, but you can see how well that went. Now also on the left-hand side, it looks like there's a drop-off over there. You would be correct. That's another 2,000-foot drop down into the Great Gulf Ravine. That separates the summit of Mount Washington ahead of us and that northern presidential range. Now I do get off guard. I'm hiking up Lafayette. I'm like, you are not supposed to be up here. He's just walking down the trail. I'm like, by all means, go ahead.
Wow.
Just don't hurt me.
I want to walk this.
It was crazy. All kinds of hikers up here today. If you watch that left-hand ridge,
yes,
you're going to see some cars come up through there. That is where the carriage road or auto road is. Now the building that's up at the summit, that's the 4th building built to monitor the weather up here. That's Sherman Adams building. On the right-hand side, we have Hook. Used to be a water tower. We had 13 water towers up and down this mountain. We only need the one now. Now a lot of those were gravity fed by runoff water.
wow.
Or we counted on the rainwater up here. Now like I said, Sherman Adams building, built in early 1980s. Very difficult to get to today. There's a lot of people up here. But you know, if you really want a picture with a sign, go ahead. Mount Washington, 6,288 feet. Yeah, I liked it. Just don't tell me hiked up on the train. It kills the vibe, okay? Now, if you walk over by that tower with the red on it, and the Weather Museum downstairs, just show them your ticket. They'll give you a token. You can go on in and check it out. That's part of your admission.
Awesome.
Now, where this person is standing by these cairns, this is the Appalachian Trail right here. So if anybody ever asks you if you've been on the Appalachian Trail, you can say, why, yes, I have. Right here. Now the Appalachian Trail, for those of you who don't know what that is a hiking trail that runs from Georgia all the way to Maine. It's over 2,200 miles long. The average through hiker takes about 6 months to hike it.
See the cars?
They're carrying 30 to 40 pounds on their backs.
Wow.
And they're traveling about 10 to 20 miles a day. Now when they get to this point on our tracks, if they've hiked south to north, bought the Cog Railway. It took them 10 years to figure out they were just a college, not a railway too. 61. And when they sold it in 2 pieces. We own the rights to the railway. The state owns the Summit building and the 60 acres up here. Now like I said earlier, so come back to the C platform. Listen for the whistles, listen to the announcements, because I do not want you to miss your train. You'll have about an hour at the top. Forgot what time it was already. 12:40, so come back at about 1:35-ish. Engineer and everybody here who works at the Cog Railway, we sure are glad that you came out and joined us today on this grand adventure. Because if it wasn't for fantastic people like you coming out and exploring Mount Washington with us, we wouldn't have such awesome jobs. Thanks again, and we hope you have a great time.
Wow.
Mine?
Yes.
So close, I do.
I know.
No, when it like it's wide and isn't wide.
Dropped.